What's up, everybody? Hopefully this is going through. If I can get an audio check, that'd be great. You get into the chat. All right, I'm gonna give it a second. So just so everybody's aware, I'm in the middle of a pretty heavy storm right now. So if I lose internet connection or I lose power, that's what's going on. Hopefully the internet's holding up right now. The dogs wanted to go outside, and I opened the door, and it's bucketing out there, and they said, nope, no way. So Havana's right here. But just giving this a minute. I know OFR is still going strong. I don't know if I'll be on here. Oh, here comes Havana. Super late tonight. I got to work tomorrow. It's my scheduled Saturday, one Saturday a month. But anyways, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. And we're going to talk about tonight's title is How Often Do You Make a Mess? And there's a reason I have this title. Last weekend we kind of talked about battery backups using USB air pumps if your power goes out, and right now that's a kind of a prime topic going around with the two hurricanes that are on the south coast of the United States. And like I said, I am doing a video about how long does a small battery bank and a large battery bank run USB air pumps, and these are the air pumps I'm using in the video. I'm hoping to wrap that video up this weekend, and I'll probably post it to the members, and then it'll go live on the channel probably middle or later next week. But anyways, so tonight's topic with making the mess. So every once in a while, maybe every 3 months, I flood my fish room. Obviously it's on accident, and it's always because I forget what I'm doing. I get sidetracked, I squirrel really badly, and the way I store my water in my fish room is I have two 55-gallon barrels. They fill up with tap water that goes through a carbon block filter. So if I need to, I can go directly to a tank. But with my tap water, even in the summer, it's still pretty cold compared to the tank water. The tap water might be 60 degrees where my tank water is 78. So what I do is I age the water, and that's what the 255-gallon drums are for. Basically, one's full, so it's 55 gallons max. The other one is a 55 on side, so it probably really only sees about 40 gallons worth of water. But basically, that water sits in the fish room for about a day, and the room temperature heats it up to match the tanks. That was the easiest way I could do big water changes without having to buy like a tankless water heater when I built my fish room. Havana's, there's Havana. She's in my lap. So just throwing that out there. That's what I'm doing. Anyways, the first tank fills up by turning a knob on my wall. And it fills up, and then once it gets full, I turn it off. Usually, I overfill that one 99% of the time. And that one makes a mess because it's up in the air. It's, I don't know, 5.5 feet off the ground. So when it overflows, think of your faucet on full blast coming from the ceiling. It's just waterfall onto the floor. That's usually what I do. And it's mainly because I turn the faucet on, it's filling up the barrel, and then I walk away, and then I forget about it, and the next thing I know, I could hear water crashing. Well, tonight was something different. So my second barrel, which sits on the floor in the fish room, has a 100-foot garden hose on it. And that's how I do water changes in this room, which is, it's far away. It's actually over 100 feet away. It's 110 feet, actually, because it's 100-foot hose, and then I had to put a 10-foot extension hose, and it barely reaches this tank. That allows me to basically do water changes throughout my whole house using the carbon block system. I don't have to use any kind of tap water treatment. So tonight, this tank, so this room is air conditioned. This tank's at like 82 degrees and it's all open top. This thing evaporates heavily. So I fill it up basically every Friday night. So once a week, instead of really doing water changes, I do water top offs. It was down to about here. We call it 20% water change. Once a week, this tank gets 20% water change, and that's just from evaporation. And so I basically pull my hose in here, I fill up this tank. I go and fill up the little small 4-gallon in here, and then I basically take the hose back towards the fish room, and I top off tanks as I go. You know, the 75, the axolotl 20-gallon, that tank's not heated, so it really doesn't evaporate that much, and the whole top of the water is covered in duckweed, which helps actually cut down on evaporation on that tank. It's a full layer of duckweed. So I top off that tank, and it's not heated tank, so I don't ever try to add more than a couple gallons at a time, so I don't raise the temperature up too much. So I top that off. I top off the mutt guppy tank, and then my fry rack, it evaporates really quickly because it's got the 11 tanks plus the 10-gallon sump. They're all open topped, and it's heated, and it's constantly flowing. So that thing needs topped off like twice a week. That sump. I mean, it's a 10-gallon sump. It doesn't fill up all the way. It probably holds, let's say, about 8 gallons in the sump. But I have to top that off like twice a week. So long story short, bringing the hose back, my 55-gallon drum that I'm using to top these tanks off, usually it's pretty empty by the time I top off all the tanks. When that's the case, I can open the valve from my upper storage, which is 40 gallons, and just let it fill up the lower tank, and I don't have to worry about it. Well, I didn't use as much water as I thought I did, so when I went to put 40 gallons in, I would say at least probably 15 gallons ended up on the floor. The barrel overflowed. I saw somebody in the chat said, get the alarms LRB has. Well, I can't remember what alarms he has. I think he has like the contact where it starts beeping. I actually have, and I've talked about this in live streams before, I have what I think is the best of the best. I have water detectors that are built into my alarm system. So I'm in here, totally forgot that I was transferring water, in here working on the computer, and then my house alarm goes off, and then my phone rings. So that's why I really like having my fish room tied into my house alarm. As soon as my house alarm detected water on the ground, it set off my alarm. It starts beeping because my system's not armed for like intruders right now, but if it detects water, it starts beeping the alarm. Well, they automatically, it pages my phone through the app, but the Ring, I use a Ring system, Ring alarm, they physically call me. And that's how I found out, because my phone rang, I looked, and I was like, Ring alarm, it just clicked. I was like, crap. So I ran out there, shut off the water, and made a mess. And I know the other week I was talking about, I don't think people realize how much water, once it hits the ground, is actually on the ground. You know, I'm guessing maybe it was 15 gallons. And even a 10 gallon, like if this 55 broke, oh, miserable. Because even 10 gallons, and a good way you can try this out is if you have a big patio or even your driveway, take a 5-gallon bucket of water and just dump it out, and you'll see how far 5 gallons will go. So 15 gallons was quite a bit, and I just want to know, what's your biggest mess that you've had? I've unfortunately done this a handful of times. I've actually did this when LRB was here. The tap water was so cold that I think it was kind of making the garden hose like hard, and the pump wasn't flowing enough to keep up with how much water was going to my sump. And basically the sump was overflowing, and that was while LRB was here. So luckily I caught that. We were just in my kitchen, and I heard it, And that's another thing. A lot of people, I'm sure everybody in this chat knows, like, you're so used to something. Like, I'm so used to the sound of this air moving that when something slightly changes, you pick it up. And that's typically what happens when I have an accident going on in the house, whether I've lost air. In the fish room, I have the central air pump powering all the tanks on the import rack. That I have a bleeder valve on it. I'm running not enough drops for that pump. It's forcing too much air through the drops, so I basically have to bleed the air off. Well, that valve actually popped out once, and that pump was still pumping enough air, but I could tell there was a sound different. The pitch was different, and that's where I found the valve was popped out. Not really a mess or anything like that. Getting back on topic, but messes happen. Luckily, I haven't had any issues in here with the 2 tanks. And I look back, I was going to make this room my fish room. And I'm so glad I didn't. I'm so glad. And the purpose was, it was close to the bathroom that I could run a sump doing water changes, pump all the water to like the toilet or to the sink or the bathtub. And that was my original thought. And then I was like, wait a minute. The fish room, which is like the laundry room, it's a big laundry room. Like, it's already got everything I need, plus it's got the hardwood floor. So I ended up doing that. And looking back, I'm glad I did. I would probably, and this is just me because I've messed up before, and I would probably never do a fish room unless it in the house, unless it was in the basement, or like that fish room I have now is concrete slab. I don't have a basement, but I'm like, man, if there was a basement below me right now, I would just send a lot of water through the floor. So I probably wouldn't ever do a fish room in the house. Garage, basement, or in my case, that room, utility room, I guess you could call it. But yeah, so I just want to know, anybody have any crazy stories with making a mess? Luckily, I haven't caused any damage yet, knock on wood. But that's why I kind of, want to move to where I could build a fish building. And I was talking to Josh Price just for a brief minute earlier today, and something I kind of want to try if and when I get a fish building. I keep wanting to say fish room, but it's going to be a building. I want to try some freshwater stingrays. I'm really excited that if I have a building, that I'll be able to make a lot bigger tanks and really stretch out what I can physically keep. And I think freshwater, everybody's talking about like monster fish with the 2,000 gallon. I mean, I guess you might be able to consider a stingray a monster sized fish. They can get up to 14 inches. I don't know all the stingray species and variants, but I know some of the common ones are 14 inches across. So that's a monster to me, but they don't need the water depth. So I saw a video, it was Coral 12G, where he was in, I want to say it was Singapore, where he was looking at a stingray breeder. And what I saw was really cool, where the guy had, if you haven't seen the video, I'll just kind of describe it. He basically had this huge tank, maybe it was like 2 feet deep, that was like the whole floor, and then he basically made a deck over it. And when you walked up on the deck, there was tanks on the sides, and at first you didn't even realize you were standing on top of a tank. You walk in, you go up like a couple stairs, and then you're looking at all these tanks around, and then he mentioned about being on top, and then like the deck lifted up, and that's how you got in the tanks. And I thought that was really cool. He kept some of his like older breeders in there. I was like, man, I just want the option to be able to build stuff like that. So nothing really new this week as far as that, as far as moving. I go Sunday to my buddy's house that's moving to Montana, and he's selling his 13 acres. So I'm going to check it out while I'm there, and talk to him more about when he's planning on selling, and get some ideas. I plan on, well, I don't know if I'm planning on. I might take my drone and try to get some video of the place, but being that's at his house, I don't really want to be like, hey, I'm making a video for YouTube of your property. You know, I probably won't do that, but I'll at least be able to check it out. And that's another thing. I got a drone. So, I think it was Monday. I just kind of had an idea, like, man, it'd be kind of cool to have a drone. And I'm kind of a impulsive buyer. When I want something, I typically go out and buy it, and then I regret it later. Well, I slept on it, and Tuesday I woke up, and I thought, I still kind of want a drone. Like, being that I'm going to be doing more farm stuff, and random stuff, I am planning to go Ohio Fish Rescue and do some video of their ponds. Ponds. So front pond and rear pond. Probably also take it on the inside in the pool room and maybe do some flyovers of the pond, the pool pond. So that's what I kind of want to do. And so I bought it, and I did upload a video. It did terrible. The last couple videos that were farm related obviously didn't do very great, being that this is a fish channel. I'm still going to upload stuff like that because, to be honest, when I don't have my house, that's the only stuff I'm going to have to keep me sane and keep uploading to YouTube. So, you know, over the next year, there'll still be fish stuff, but it's not going to be 100% fish related. Excuse me. But it'll be stuff that I think is interesting, and I'm just going to keep posting it and just keep going along. I did the bed liner because I was at the farm and Joshua was bed lining a truck. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll record it, and you know, maybe some other people will come to the channel that's looking at that stuff. Maybe they like fish. I like all sorts of stuff, so I'm always interested in other channels that aren't just fish related. And I did get some comments that are from my fishy followers that they were like, you know, they liked the video or they thought it was interesting. So that was cool. And then I did the drone video, and it's not even ranked in my top 10 videos over the last like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever YouTube does. So that means it's not doing very good. But that's all right. So it was the first time. If you haven't seen it, it's basically I literally took it out to the farm, and it's the first time flying it. I recorded some shots around the farm of the horses and whatnot, and I did a quick edit on it, and then I uploaded it. I'll try to, I got to practice with this thing and learn. So the drone, it's a drone, so you're thinking of like a helicopter, right? It's got a gimbal mount camera on the front, and does 4K and does like 4K 60 frames per second. Like it's pretty nice. I gotta learn how to do all that stuff. There's a lot of features that it can do that I just don't know how to do yet, just because I need time with it. And I was actually on my lunch break today, I was going to mess around with it, and I can't fly it at my house. I literally can't fly it here. So you have your controller, your phone plugs into the top, and your phone gives you a live, it's like 1080p, so it's still like super awesome. It's a live view of where you're flying, like you can see everything. I live right next to the Columbus International Airport. I'm in a no-fly zone for drones. Didn't know it. And when you turn on the DJI, that's the brand, when you turn on, it brings up like Google Maps, and it shows like no-fly zones. It's always next to like airports, right? Well, I'm in the no-fly zone. I'm not in the red restricted where it's like strictly no-fly zone. I'm in like a blue zone, which is like you have to have permission. And the way you have permission is you basically have to like sign up with your serial number and tell them when and where you're flying. So I could fly here. I just have to like get a permission slip basically that says, okay, you're allowed to fly. And I'm sure they'll say like you're allowed to fly to this height or whatever. It's good for like 72 hours. So I could fly here, but it seems like a lot of work. I just going to go back out to the farm and mess around out there. I tried to see how far it would go, and it went pretty far. But the thing is, when I was messing around with the settings yesterday, I found out that it has limits, like how far you can go, like limits pre-built into it, but you can change them. And I was limited to like 400 meters, or I think it was 400 meters, something like that. And you can set it to like unlimited. So I want to go back out and see how far I could really take this thing away. And what's cool is, if it loses signal because I went way too far, it auto returns back to where I took off from. So it's really smart. It's expensive as crap, but it's really smart. It automatically hovers, super easy. I didn't crash it. And then I'm gonna, sorry, I was reading a text and I got all sidetracked. Super cool though. So I hope to use it at Ohio Fish Rescue, and just play around with it and get some different video. So I'm going on vacation in like 3 weeks. I think it's like 3 weeks. Let me double check. How do I where am I at? So yeah, just under 3 weeks. I'm going to Tennessee. Me and a couple of my friends, well, a few of my friends from the farm, we got a cabin down in Tennessee that has like a horse stable built into it. So we're going to take horses and we're basically doing like a long weekend, and we're going to basically be in this cabin. And then it's next to some like big park, like national park or something, that has a bunch of horse trails. And where the cabin is, we can ride our horses from the cabin to like the trailhead and then go out on all these trails. So I'm doing that in a few weeks. That should be pretty fun. I plan on taking my GoPro and the drone. The drone I won't take out on the trails, but maybe I'll use it like around the house. But I'll try to take my GoPro, because I realized I did a horse video and it actually got some decent like views. But I didn't really have any video of like riding on these trails, because I had my cell phone, it was in my pocket, and like sitting on the like in the saddle, like trying to get my phone out. And then that was the first time I ever rode a horse, so I didn't feel comfortable trying to hold a phone and hold reins in one hand, because it was the first time I rode a horse. So I'm going to alleviate that problem by taking my GoPro. Maybe I'll like stick it to the helmet or use the chest thingy they got. But I plan on getting some video of that. And these videos that are not fish related, I'm just uploading to the playlist. It's called like Follow Me Along. When COVID hit and I was just like uploading stuff all the time of like daily activities, I created that playlist just like Follow Me Along on whatever I'm doing. So that's probably what most of this stuff will be uploaded to, is that Follow Me Along playlist. But I want to check out the chat and see what's going on with everybody. Mr. Fisher was the first one here tonight. Hello. And it looks like, I don't know if OFAR is over now or not. They were going long. I just decided to go ahead and jump in it. Cichlids said, intruder alert, intruder alert. Every time, I don't know if that's a reference to Batman, but one of the Batman movies, like the old school, like 90s ones, I think it was maybe the one with Jim Carrey in it. That's what popped in my head. Fish and Floral said, I flooded the bathroom and a quarter of our basement when doing a water change. Yeah, that's why I'm glad I don't have a basement. Well, I take that back. If I had a basement, my fish room would be in the basement right now, and I probably wouldn't be moving if I had a basement. I'll just be honest. If I had a basement, I probably wouldn't be moving. But I'm glad that I don't have a basement right now, because I would have flooded the crap out of it. Even the vanity drawers were full of water. I actually flooded my toolbox at work one time. We had this like industrial pressure washer we had to use on this like certain engine repair, and I stuck the hose, like my toolbox drawer was open. I stuck the hose in it just to hold it up off the floor, and I turned the water on to the pressure washer, but the pressure washer was turned off. Well, I didn't realize it was like pass through. Like it didn't matter if the washer was off. So and the water was like across the shop. So I turned it on, and by the time I walked across the shop, it had filled up my toolbox full of water. It was a mess. It just overflowed. Just like I was just thinking about your vanity. It just one drawer to the next to the next. And, I had to get all the water out of it and dry all the tools off. It sucked. Cichlids 23 says my 29 gallon blowed out last year. Luckily, I was checking tanks before bed. Noticed it leaking out the bottom seal. Only put about 3 gallons on the stand carpet. Even 3 gallons is a mess. Yes, 1 gallon, because I even think about like spilling a quart of oil at work. A quart of oil is a lot. So when you start talking gallons, I was thinking like the 2,000 gallons. If that was here in the garage, even being in the garage, I feel like if a 2,000 blew out, I probably still get water in my house. The garage is sloped, out the door, but the door is sealed, like the garage door. It's not great sealed, but it's semi-sealed. I still think if a 2,000 blew out, I would probably get water into my family room, which would suck. Yeah. A little bit of water ends up being a lot once it hits the floor. Fish and Floral said, many years ago, I tipped over a 29 at the top of the stairwell. Glass fish rode the tidal wave down to the bottom. I didn't lose one. That's funny, and I mean that sucks, but it's also kind of funny. Like I could picture the tidal wave going down, that fish in it. It's like Finding Nemo, right? But yeah. Mike said, hope you get the place close to me. We can breed some fish then. Dude, if I end up with that 13 acres, there's already a detached garage, which would probably honestly be storage, because right now on the 13 acres, there's just like a trailer home. It has a 2-bedroom, and I only need 1 bedroom. So the second bedroom, I could use as storage, which would be cool. If that's the case, if I could fit everything in the second bedroom, then I could turn the detached garage into a fish room right away. I know it has power and everything. But honestly, I would just love to pour a slab and build a whole new pole barn from scratch, and basically design it to be a fish barn from the get-go. And in-floor drains, something that I'm going to do. So that way, if I ever have a tank blowout, or if I overfill a tank, or something happens, it goes down the drain, and no mess, no fuss. And then it'd be sweet if it's big enough to where I can just buy one of those Zambonis, and if there's a huge mess, I can just Zamboni the whole shop, right? Cichlid said, I wanted a DJI Mavic Pro for 2 years now. So I ended up with the Mavic Air 2. It was expensive, guys. I bought it, well, I spent more money than you have to. So I was talking to John from KG Tropicals, and he said it's a good drone. He's got the Mavic Pro. I think he's got the Mavic Pro, and then the Air 2 came out like 3 months after whatever he bought. So I think he wanted the Air 2, but it wasn't out yet, from what it sounds like. But he said get extra batteries. So when buying the Air 2, I think it was like $800. And then for like $175 more, you get what they call like the Fly Now kit. So you get 3 batteries, and then you get like a charger that will charge all 3 batteries. And then you get filters, ND filters. I forget how many there are, maybe 3-ish. So like if you're out in bright sun, you can put a filter on the lens, depending on your lighting conditions. But so that's what I ended up doing. I bought the bundle. It came with like the travel case, which I'm sure it comes with a case anyways. But yeah, so I bought the bundle and it came out to like just under $1,000. It's a lot of money, a lot of money. So I need to make some videos with it to try to recoup some on YouTube, I guess. And that's where like the horse farm video came into play. I will record my vacation in Tennessee because there's going to be really good scenery down there. On the like Airbnb website where we got the cabin through, they show some pictures. Havana's just needing attention tonight. They show some pictures of like the caves and all sorts of stuff that's around. Looks super awesome. So I'll definitely be getting video of that. Maybe the first day we'll ride and I'll see if there's any spots where I can use the drone. And then like day 2, I'll take the drone with me and try to record what I can of Tennessee. I like going to Tennessee. I was just there last year. I think it was last year. Last year I was down there in Nashville for a long weekend. It was a lot of fun. All right, let me see. Don't look at me. Nick says I like trucks and fish. Well, you'll fit in on this channel. I like everything. I mean, there's like some stuff that I don't post. Like I'm into guns, not like hardcore or anything, but like, you know, I do want to go out to the farm and do some target shooting. Like, I don't know if I'll post that stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I will. Who knows? Oh, crap. My chat just jumped. Hang on. Scrolling. I'm going through. River Life's here. Hello. Rack. Good to see you, bud. Rack said Mavic Air 2 is the way to go. Get the bundle. 3 filters. That's what I did. You're up in my personal space, girl. Okay, caught up. I don't know where the other one's at. But, yeah, let's go check out the fish room. So, I'll tell you what I do when I flood stuff. Oh, come on. Go on. Got dog. Ow, I just stubbed my toe. Dang dog. Alright. So, first thing I do, fish room door. Can you see it? Alright, right there. It's a big blower fan. It's actually from my work. I brought it home. But I open this door, so this room out here, air conditioned. This room's not air conditioned. It's heated, and during the summer I don't have to heat it. Just it pulls enough heat through the roof that it stays warm. It's currently 95 degrees because I have this door open and the blower on. So first thing I do is I open this door because the air is way drier in here because the AC is running. Super humid in there, especially when you put water on the floor. So I open this door, and I do this every day on my lunch break anyways, just to help circulate dry air in there and pull the humidity down. So that's the first thing I do. And actually I don't have it out here, so I can't even tell you the second, well, it'd be the third thing. Second thing I do, this is my garage. I open the door to the garage. The reason I do that is this room has a slight slope to this door. I'd rather get the water out in the garage than in here. So I open this door. So any water that's hitting the floor goes out there. I'd rather have water out there. I guess really, let's pause. The first thing I do is stop whatever's causing the water. And what it was is tank 1. That's where the fresh water comes in. Comes in through the tab, which is this line. Goes up and over. Don't get sick, don't get sick. Goes through carbon block filter. And then this pipe right here goes to this tank. This is how I started my fish room. Just one tank. Once I added all of these, I didn't have enough water to do water changes on everything. So I added this 55 gallon right here. Well, the way I fill that up is, we're just going on all different angles. There's a sump right here. This hose basically, this hose runs over to this 55. So I plumbed this tank. There's a line. I'll just have to touch it because I can't see it on the camera. Right here. That dumps into the sump. The sump's on a float switch, so it automatically pumps over. Well, tonight, I had more water in here than I thought. It's spinning around, guys. And this thing was full. So, too much water went in. And I don't know if you guys can see, that water level is at the top. So, yeah, that's how I overflowed the fish room tonight. And then I guess the next step is once I get this garage door open and water starts going out, I got this like squeegee broom thing. I try to push as much water out as I can to get it out of this room because I'm not trying to get this room super humid. The final step I do is I actually got it for 20 bucks. It's like reconditioned or whatever, but like new condition. It was like a Bissell hardwood tile scrubby electric floor thingy. Well, it's got a squeegee and a vacuum built into it, and I use that to suck up the water off the floor. My shop vac, it could do water, but you got to take like the filter out, and it's got so much dust and stuff in it, it would just make a mess. So I use the Bissell floor vacuum thing to suck up the water. It does an excellent job. The problem is it holds like 2 quarts of water, and then you got to drain it. So I had to empty it out like 10 times. But that's how I get water off my floor. And then I usually leave this door open. I did shut it in case I went out to the family room during the live stream. But that's how I get water off the floor. And I've done it, unfortunately, quite a few times. Somebody said, where's the shop vac? So I have a shop vac out in the garage. I could grab the Bissell thingy majigger. It's in the closet. I know it's dark. I'll take it back out so you guys can see this thing. But it was 20 bucks. I say brand new, but it was reconditioned. But 20 bucks. I've used it so many times, and I don't even know if I used it to clean my kitchen. I used it to get all the water off the floor. Can I switch this? Switch. There we go. This thing. All right, it's not Bissell. It's an Oric. But, you know, it's kind of like a carpet cleaner, but not a carpet cleaner. It's for tile. But it's got a squeegee built into it, and it does a really good job at pulling water. But that's the tank that the dirty water goes into. But for 20 bucks, I've got my use out of it for sure. Shop vac would probably be better. I need to really just buy... Do you want to go outside? It stopped raining. That's good. I need to buy like a dedicated wet vac. The problem is, I bought one in case I did stuff like this, but then I end up using it for projects where I'm like sucking up styrofoam and dirt and whatnots. But yeah, I guess I can say, if you got more than one tank, or if you got a bigger tank, have some way of getting water off the floor, whether it's a shop vac or if you got one of those tile things like I got, even a carpet cleaner. Carpet cleaner will still suck up water off the tile. You might have to drop like the rollers down, but yeah. I was trying to think if there's anything new in the fish room. Really nothing new. I had an idea for the remaining fish that I have. Instead of waiting, I really want to start breaking this fish room down because that's really what's kind of holding me up on getting ready to sell the house. Is I gotta get the fish room broken down because nobody wants to come into a house and see 55 tanks. So I have an idea. I gotta reach out to him, but I thought about reaching out to George at Agno Aquatics. All right, we're back. He's up by Ohio Fish Rescue. I forget the town, but it's by Strongsville. It's not too far from Strongsville. I thought about reaching out to George and be like, if you want any of these, I'll donate them to you. It'd be cheaper than him. Well, I mean, it's donated, so it's free, so it's obviously cheaper, but fish have been here for months. They're healthy. No parasites, nothing. No disease. So I thought about taking it up to him, and the reason I would do that versus giving him away to like somebody on the channel is, first time I met George, he knew who I was, and I feel bad because we were friends on Facebook, but I think it was like I added him as a friend because I had mutual friends, but I didn't really follow him. But he knew who I was, and he was like giving me so many tips, business related, of like who to use for wholesale, who not to use, who to get fish from, who not to get fish from. Like, he gave me a lot of insider info, and that really like struck home to me. So I would like to, he was just so awesome that I wanted to like give back, I guess. So I need to reach out to him once I'm closer to being ready to downsize what I have left. Especially like these oddballs where I got like the 2 cardinal tetras. Like, I know he's got cardinal tetras. Like, hey, here's 2 more. Like, take them. So yeah. So that's something, I guess that's the only really update in the fish room. No real update on this tank. Everybody's just fat and happy and is what's going on, I guess. But let me get back in the chat and see where we're at. You guys saw me let the dog out, right? Like a minute ago. She's barking to come back in. She goes outside, looks for a raccoon, and then immediately wants back in. Ooh, I did have a raccoon in my backyard this week. I let her out. I forget what night it was, like Tuesday. I couldn't sleep. It was like 12:30 a.m. And I let the dogs out. And like 5 minutes later, usually they go out like kind of like this. They go out for a few minutes and then they went back in. Well, a few minutes later, I don't hear them barking. So I open the door. And Vanna's just running back and forth around the shed. So I was like, oh, there must be a raccoon behind it. There was a raccoon on top of the shed. Come on. You're such a turd. Raccoon on top of the shed. She knew it was up there. She couldn't get to it. So I don't know if this makes me a bad dog parent or not. But I just let her out there for at least another 10 minutes. Because she was running like full speed back and forth, and I was just letting her tire herself out. She came in and passed right out. It was awesome. If you guys have energetic dogs, you know what it's like to get them like super exercise and just let them pass out. It was super sweet. Oh, sorry, back. I had to grab water while we were out there. Let me see where we're at. Lisa's here. Hello, Lisa and Patty. Bob. Hello, Bob. John Cox. Everybody else. John said at SC it's unlikely to stop anytime soon as it's still raining in Nashville area. Yeah, I mean, with these hurricanes, it's going to bring up a ton of rain, so hopefully in 3 weeks that will be done with and vacation won't be rained out. Fish and Florida says Shopvac is my friend. Yeah, I need to get a dedicated Shopvac. I even bought I bought this little one. Like, I don't know what it holds like 3 gallons, but super like portable. Well, I end up using it to like clean the cars out, like vacuuming the floors and stuff. So I really just need to buy another one of them. I think I got it from Harbor Freight, super cheap. That's what I need to do. Patty says, I never moved with a fish before. Thank goodness I just have betas. All right, so I did this past weekend. I went in the camper to look, like really look it over. Where can I put a fish tank in this thing? I might be in trouble. So I was like, I'm taking this 55 with me. Like, this is my favorite fish tank right now. I'm like, I'm taking it. So I thought, like, so I'm going to give the rainbows back to Mike. Keeping the Pluckos. I'm like, I'll put those Vienna guppies in here. They will breed like crazy in the 55. The Aquarium Co-op Vienna guppies. I'm like, I'll put them in there. there's really not a great place to put this thing in the trailer. There is like a built-in shelf, but that won't fit. I could fit like a 10-gallon on it. And then the actual space where this probably could fit is really where like a TV would go. So I might just get rid of a TV and have a fish tank, which if that's the case, I'm going to make this like a community tank because this will be my entertainment to watch each night. So this might be my TV in the future. I don't know yet. We'll see. But yeah. Bob says the raccoon community has you on their avoid list. So that was like Tuesday night, I think. Wednesday, my driveway camera alerts me there's movement in the driveway. During the day, 2 raccoons run up my driveway. And I'm like, one of them could have just died the night before, but no, now there's 2. There's just raccoons. Wildlife, I'm like in a neighborhood, and wildlife here is crazy. There's a big skunk problem. I can see on my cameras like almost every night a skunk runs through my front yard. And if you, I don't know if I did a video, I definitely talked about this in live streams before. Havana has caught a skunk before. She killed it, but she caught a skunk and it sprayed her. Miserable. Absolutely terrible. She has gotten a bird somehow. It was alive. Like, she caught a live bird. Don't know how that happened. Because she's not a small girl. She's meaty. She's gotten a bird, a raccoon, a skunk, and like 2 or 3 chipmunks, which are also really fast. But her like pit bull comes out, and once she gets her mind set on something, she doesn't give up. So the chipmunks have always been in my wood piles, and she will destroy the wood pile getting to her. And that's really sucks because, you know, you stack the wood all nice, and like 3 weeks later you come home and the wood pile is just throughout the whole backyard. Like, she drags the wood out to try to get to these chipmunks. But Charlotte, she just watches. She just stands there and watches everything go on. John says I use the TV to watch fish tube, so cannot remove the TV. Yeah, I mean, I do too. So I usually turn on the TV in my family room, and that's I put on YouTube and catch up on people's videos when I got time. So I think I'm going to need a TV because when winter time hits and farm stuff becomes like, you know, I don't want to say non-existent, but like, you let the horses out, you let them in, you feed them. Well, during the summer, there's like, you know, you gotta mow the grass and fertilize and all that stuff. Well, during the winter, there's not going to be much to do. I'm going to be in a camper. I need to have like my Hulu so I can watch some like Letterkenny or The Boys. That's a TV show on, I think it's on Hulu. No, Amazon Prime maybe. I got into that, and they got like a new season coming out in a couple weeks. That will give me something to do during the winter, especially once this is all done, where I'm not, you know, selling. I will need to be able to do something. But yeah, I'll figure it out for sure. Patty said, "Can you set up tanks at somebody's house?" I guess I could take this 55 and put it in my Josh and Carrie, my friends at the farm. I mean, they obviously have a house there. Maybe I'll just put this in their house. If they're watching, Carrie or Josh, you guys might end up with a fish tank. But then again, if I end up like this 13 acres, like something happens with that this weekend, you know, I may go straight from here straight to the 13 acres, then all the tanks are coming with me. I don't know. I just got to see how things play out. But either way, I need to downsize all the fish. So yeah, that's, I guess, first step. Nate said, "Hi, do you remember that kid with brown hair from OFR?" There's a lot of kids with brown hair at OFR. If you're talking about like if I remember you, I can't really like see your thumbnail, but I talked to like quite a few kids there. Are you the one that was from Pennsylvania? I think it was Pennsylvania. The last kid I could think of was from Pennsylvania that I talked to. Or there's another kid, which is probably you now that I think about it. If this is what you're talking about, I do remember talking to a kid that came up to me and said he was subscribed to my channel. If that's you, then I remember you. Stephen the biologist said, years ago I used to have fish tanks in my garage, also had a dog door on the door. I found a raccoon on top of my tank drinking out of it one time, had also ripped open trash bags. Raccoons around like in the city, these things are fat and happy because they do get in everybody's trash. People put cat food outside for all these outdoor cats, which that really drives me nuts. I always have cats in my yard every single day. People let their domestic cats out, which is actually against the law, like in my town. All pets or animals have to stay, I think they say stay on your property, but people let their cats out all the time, and it's super annoying because then you get like the cat prints all over your cars, or they scratch your hood jumping up on it. They drive my dogs crazy. I don't even know where I was going with that. But oh yeah, the raccoons. So I think the raccoons are eating like cat food and stuff that people are setting out, and they get into trash and all that crap. Because the one Havana got was big. It was a big raccoon. I'm assuming she got it because it was so big it waddled to get away from her versus running. Kaylor said, I haven't had TV for years, saved tons on cables. Who has time? Yeah, so, well, I mean, I'm talking about having like an actual TV, like a physical TV. I don't have cable. It's probably been 4 years now since I cut cable. I have Hulu. Take it back. So I bought a bundle. It's Hulu, Disney Plus, and like ESPN. It was like all three for like $15 a month. So that's what I have. So I'll watch like Disney Plus once in a while. I mainly watch Hulu for some TV shows. But actual cable TV I haven't had in years. But I still pay a ton of money because I bought like the really expensive internet for like streaming and stuff. So I'm still paying a ton a month. Bob says I use my smart TV to watch YouTube. Yep. So TV in my bedroom is an old school TV. It's a flat screen, but it's from like 15 years ago. So it's like, it's a flat screen, but it's still like this thick. It's got an Amazon Fire Stick in it. So that's how I watch like YouTube in my bedroom. Or I'll turn on like Hulu. I always fall asleep to the TV. It's just a habit I've had forever. I turn the TV on and literally like 2 minutes later I'm passed out. And then the family room, it's actually not a smart TV. It's a newer TV. Like, oh, it's not newer now. It's probably 5 or 6 years old. It's not a smart TV, but I just have an Xbox hooked up to it. And I use the Xbox to play Hulu and YouTube and that stuff. And that's the other thing I'm a little nervous about, because some houses that I've been looking at don't have cable at all. Like no cable internet, no cable TV. They're on satellites. And a coworker of mine lives out in the boonies, in like one of the areas I was looking, he said the internet completely sucks to where they just have to use their cell phones and piggyback them to their laptops. I was like, that sounds terrible, because I'm on like gigabit internet here. It's 1,000 megs. Like it's like nothing, you know. It's just there's so many different internet providers where I'm at. So moving out to where there's not all that kind of sucks. I wouldn't have a satellite TV anyways, just because I don't watch the TV. Mr. Fisher is taking off. See ya. Have a good night. GB says Disney Plus worth it for the Mandalorian alone. So, I watched the Mandalorian series, but I got to say it was like during one of my fish projects. So I always have the TV playing if I'm doing something around the house. I like to listen, and Mandalorian was on when I was doing something else. So I saw like some full episodes, and then there's some episodes where I might have saw like a couple minutes here and there. So I really need to go back and watch it all. But I don't know. Like usually I'll play like Aquarium Co-op's channel or something. I have something playing when I'm doing stuff around the house. Chevy Fish says cat rips up the faces of my caged bunnies. Cat leash law here, but people don't responsible owners. I don't think people realize, like, they let their cats out and they don't realize the mischief they get into. And the other, like, so not only like they get on your car and like maybe they don't care about cat prints on their car. Well, I'm a car person. And you could say, like, oh, parking in a garage. Well, my truck doesn't fit my garage, so it's got to be outside. But, like, getting cat prints all over that sucks. It really ticks me off. And then scratches. They run through, like, my front flower bed in front of the windows, and the dogs go crazy. But cats, when they breed or they get in a fight, whatever, either or, they scream. I don't know what that is. It must be fighting, but who knows. When they do that crap in your flower bed at 3 in the morning, it sucks. So that's another reason I kind of want to move out to the country. And, yeah. I don't hate cats. I hate people that let their cats just roam free through the neighborhood. Plus, I mean, my old roommate had 2 cats. No problem with them. I just feel like, and he had the same mentality. He would never let them outdoors because he's like, what if they didn't come home? What if they got hit by a car? Like, he wouldn't want them to get hurt outdoors because he, like, loved them. And that's how I feel like people should be with their cats. Like, I feel like people just don't want their cats mess, because, like, they mess around with stuff. Like, right now, the cat would be in here and be like, oh, look at this. Like, that's what the cat would do. I don't, like, do people just let the cats out so they don't mess with their house all day? Like, I don't know. Like, be like having a dog, but you leave them chained up outdoors all day long. Like, it's terrible. I don't know. Let's not talk about cats. John says, my problem with cats is they like messing in my work truck. I would be tired after working late and leave the ladder hanging out the back of the camper, and they pee in my tools. Huh. Chevy Fish says that scream is the moment a cat and he gets impregnated. Male cats have barbs on their Gonopodiums. Well, yeah, that noise sucks at 3 a.m. And these cats probably aren't fixed, and that's where these populations are getting crazy, so it's a nuisance for sure. Patty said, "I'm personally am very against letting your cat out. I'm 100% with you. Even if I had a cat, I wouldn't let it outside." John said, "Other than males fighting as well, they're loud. I mean, it sounds like somebody's screaming, especially like when they're right outside your window. It's terrible to wake up to." GB says, "Rewatch it. You must. I have spoken. I will rewatch it." I don't really see it with The Mandalorian, but usually I get on a TV show and then I'll just keep playing it over and over. Like I probably watched Letterkenny 4 times now, like the whole series. Another TV show, which maybe it's because I'm getting older. So I grew up with my family, like my mom and my aunts always watched the TV show Frasier. They grew up, or not grew up, but they watched Cheers and then Frasier, which is like the spinoff, like from Cheers. I always remember them like quoting it, right? Never interested me. Like a year ago, I started watching it, and then I got hooked on this the TV show Frasier. It's on Well, it was on Netflix, so I was watching it on Netflix, and that's another show I think it's funny, and I've watched Frasier like however many seasons. There's like 10, 11, 12 seasons. I've probably watched them all those seasons like 10 times because that's that show. Like when I'm doing something around the house, I'll turn it on. I'm listening, laughing or whatever, or I turn that on when I go to bed. But I really like the show Frasier. GB said, "Letterkenny is the best coming out there. To be fair." To be fair. Yeah, I guess you gotta see Letterkenny to really get some of the comments and quotes because I think it's hilarious. And the best part is Wayne, who's the main character. I know you've never seen it. This doesn't matter to you. But GB, my buddy that's selling or going to be selling these 13 acres, he looks just like Wayne. Dresses the same. Like, he could be Wayne for Halloween for sure. And I haven't seen him in like a few years. Not a few years, a couple years. He got married. It's actually the last time I saw him, and we're going out Sunday to have a cookout. So I want to bring it up and be like, "Dude, please tell me you've watched Letterkenny because you're Wayne for sure." Chevy Fish said, "Coyotes here too. They love to eat cats and dogs." We actually had, was it the spring or last fall, we had coyotes in our neighborhood and people were freaking out and like blah 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 about them. Like, well, just 2 weeks before that, you guys were complaining about all the skunks in the neighborhood. Like, skunk control would be coyotes. Like oh, my dogs or whatever. Well, keep an eye on them. But during mating seasons, like when you really got to pay attention. But I haven't heard of any issues recently with coyotes around here. Patty says, "My indoor cats are just fine and happy and healthy and loving life. They're not bothering anybody or killing any animals outside. That they should be not, since cats really don't belong here." Stephen the biologist said, "I don't believe they should be kept jailed inside 24/7 personally. I don't think you should own a cat if you don't have the room or property. It should also be required to fix a microchip." think, I know if you get your like animals, whether it's a cat or a dog from a shelter, they're automatically fixed and chipped. But I don't know. I don't think, just my personal belief, I don't think cats should be allowed to roam free. Can you imagine if like dogs were allowed to roam free? Yeah, people would have like, I mean, people already like, I don't want to say freak out over like a dog running through the street, but like if Havana got out, she probably would get shot by the police because she's a pit bull. But I'm responsible enough to keep her in the yard. And with cats, like, how do you keep a cat in the yard? I mean, I guess you could get like a harness for it and leash it, but like, you're not going to be able to keep it in a yard. So I don't know. He also said there has been studies that show outside cats are 60% more nicer and friendlier than cats kept inside. I don't know, because like every cat that comes in my yard, like I'll say like hi cat, and like they never want anything to do with me. But I mean, maybe they're just being cautious. Sorry, getting messages. Steven said, a dog isn't a cat, and that's the part about having room and property, just my personal opinion. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, that you feel they're fine outdoors, like, I'm not that person to think bad upon you or anything. Just my opinion is, I think they should be indoors. Or now, when you say property, it makes me think like, all right, so if I had 13 acres, would I have an outdoor cat? Probably. You know, thinking about it that way, you know, if I had the room to where that cat's not going to go, like the nearest neighbor's house is 20 acres away, it's less likely that cat's going to go over there and bother them. But like here in like the suburb, where it's, you know, house on house on house, I think it's a nuisance. But I also, now, you know, thinking outside the box, devil's advocate, I guess, the farm has cats. They're barn cats. They're outdoor cats, but they're always like on the farm. They're always in the barn. There's hay, and they always like sleep on the hay. But I mean, I'm cool with that. Like, they're on their property, but I don't know. Anyways. Wendy Moo said, my cats go outside only when they think they're going to live their fantasy and sneak out. Always panic in 2 minutes. Was it my roommate's cat? I think it was my roommate's cat. He took him outside once. I think he had a leash on him. And the cat, like, froze. Like, didn't know what to do. Like, it did not enjoy being outside. John said, dangerous animals local to me: copperheads, rattlesnakes, 2 species, mostly timbers around here. Coyotes, bears, cougars. Sure, I'm missing something. Around here, as far as like dangerous animals in town, really is only coyotes. Not that I really consider them dangerous. I mean, not to like humans. Dangerous to small animals, sure. Just south of where I'm at, there are bears. And then further south, you get into more poisonous snakes. There are poisonous snakes in Ohio. They're just not like where I'm at. East, I'm sure there's probably some sort of cougar, like out, you know, more towards the mountains. But where I'm at, really, the only thing we have around here is coyotes. Don't go to. Oh, my mouse is in the way. Don't go to the south if you don't want to see dogs roaming free. I mean, I know there's dogs everywhere roaming free. I see like, I don't see it. I don't see them all the time, but I see them. Um, it it kind of sucks because like they could be people's pets that have gotten out. My dogs have gotten out of the yard before. We had a windstorm that blew the lock off my gate. I had like a wood 2x4 plank and it broke it. They got out. Luckily they were in the front yard, but it just. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, never mind. So I mean, there's definitely animals that I know, like way south, they have the feral hogs. There are issues for farmers with like digging up crops and stuff like that. Um, I guess it's the lesser of two evils. What's well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting off track here. Patty says cats are both predators and prey. That's a true statement for sure. John says I have the large coyote traps and catch dogs as well, but not as often I set that trap is rare. I have that problem. Yeah, so like at the farm, the coyotes they don't get trapped. Um, the biggest issue is with like the horses is actually groundhogs. Um, Groundhogs actually pose a huge danger to horses because of the holes they dig. Um, groundhog can dig a hole and a horse steps in and breaks his leg. It's game over. So the biggest threat, really, well, at least around here, is groundhogs. And then with horses, I mean, get a donkey, you're pretty set. With coyotes, donkeys are like aggressive when they come to coyotes. Yeah, well, I guess the other thing with as far as horses, raccoons are an issue in the barn a lot because raccoons will poop and pee on hay and they'll get in grain. You don't want a horse eating raccoon pee and stuff like that. It can make them sick. So raccoons are probably the number one like animal that you don't want around the horses, mainly because of like poop and pee getting in their food. And then it would be like groundhogs. You definitely don't want groundhog holes in the fields because a horse could step in it and break a leg. And they actually have a pit bull. His name's Mason. I was actually around. I used to live with these guys like years and years ago. They actually lived down the street from me before they had the farm. We got Mason as a puppy. We actually think he got into it. He's a scaredy cat. um, he's a I forget the kind of pit bull, like blue pit or whatever. Um, we think he went running after a coyote underneath one of the trailers. It's like hey, like, are you a dog? His ear got bit like hard, like it's super like broken, and whatever that same night, whatever happened, he like we think he like was sniffing a coyote and it bit him, and he jumped because he ran his back into like the bottom of a steel trailer and like cut his back wide open. Had to go to the vet and get stitches and everything. Um, but they have, I don't even know where I was going with that, but they have coyotes out there. You guys are losing me tonight. I don't know. We got way off track here. All right, so fishy stuff. I think we're done talking about fishy stuff tonight. I don't really have anything else to talk about. I got work tomorrow. Cookout on Sunday. I think that's about it, guys. I think that's about it. Did LRB go live? Anybody know? Anyways, it's after my time. I'm going to call it quits before we get too crazy on the cat talk. Thank you guys so much for watching. I enjoyed the chat back and forth on the cats and dogs and domesticated, not domesticated, all that stuff. Steven Biologist, good talking with you, and everybody else that was in the chat tonight. I'll see you guys next Friday, and John just said LRB just came through. Notice. Go check out LRB. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Bear with me with these non-fish related videos I'll probably be releasing, especially with the drone. I'll try to get some fish related videos with the drone. Maybe I can take it up to like the reservoir and get some videos of the dam. I guess it's not really fish, but it's water. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, do whatever you do and be happy. See you guys.